Seven of the best came to play for the money. On 7 good ponies and some damn good swing.
Hi everyone, welcome to the 6th Swan Cup video podcast. My name is Alex Wrobel from the Inverell Polocrosse Club, and we're going to endeavour to complete a podcast every week in the lead up to the 2021 Inverell Swan Cup. I'm the president of the Inverell Polocrosse Club, and we're going to use this podcast to provide you with the information about the Swan Cup and meet the people behind the scenes who will help to make our event a success. The Swan Cup will run from the 8th to the 11th of July 2021, and our open men's polocrosse and sale nominations open on the 19th of April and close on the 10th of May 2021. I'm here with club member and leader of our Swan Cup, Cameron Neville. How you going, Cameron?
Terrific, Alex.
And this week, our special guest is Codie Law from Yarrawa Park Stock Horses. Thanks for joining us, Codie. How you going?
Good, thanks, mate. G'day, Cam.
Codie.
All right, we've got a huge announcement to get us started, Codie. Yarrawa Park Stock Horses has come on board as a sponsor for the Swan Cup. You're going to give us a service fee to Knipes Conray for every player on the winning team. So 7 service fees, just a huge, generous donation, and we're super happy. So thanks for coming on board.
Yeah, no problem, mate. It's our privilege, I think, to be involved, in your inaugural year, this new event. Nat and I are proud to be involved, and we wish you all the success.
All right, and there may be some people out there from our polocrosse community who aren't sure of who you are and where you're from. Can you give us a bit of information about yourself?
Yeah, well, I've I guess been privileged to grow up in a horsey family with a fair bit of background, I guess. My father Barry Law and my mum Annette from Yarrawa Park Stock Horses. I don't know, back in the 50s, I guess. Barry started anyway, and he started putting a few horses together, playing polocrosse with Rangers Valley in those days. And then together they've stood quite a few stallions over the years, and were heavily involved with polocrosse in those early days, and for probably 20 odd years moved into Glen Valley, and Dad was president there, and we've sort of continued into camp drafting and showing of stock horses, I guess, and now together with Natalie, my wife, we've got 2 teenage kids that ride our horses as well now, and we're pretty proud of that. And Mum's still hardly misses a camp draft or a pony club event, watching our kids and everybody else. So it's nice to be involved in a family show like this.
Excellent. And what would you say some of your greatest achievements in the horse industry would be?
Personally, I guess, like as a breeder, is seeing horses that you've bred and sold, or that have been bred by your own stallions doing well. That's always a real kick, and particularly horses that you might have sold as young horses that have gone through sales, and then you see them out and about competing. That's a pretty big one. Personally, I've had a bit of luck camp drafting over the years, and I won the stallion draft at Warwick on Conray, and he also won the Open at the Landmark Classic 5 or 6 years ago, I suppose now, and they're 2 of the bigger ones for me. So and drafting at Sydney a couple of years ago on one of his progeny, Guns N' Roses, running 3rd. That's been good bit of fun, and looking forward to improve on that in the next month or so at Sydney again this year.
And Code, how many horses on your truck competitively now would be by Conray?
Yeah, mate. Just at the moment, we retired. I retired Conray after the Classic last year. He was about 18, and whilst he hadn't been around to a lot of the drafts like a lot of the stallions have been, he hadn't been heavily competed, but I just felt it was time. So yeah, that sort of left Guns N' Roses and his full sister Primrose, 2 open horses. We've now got Yarrawa Miranda, 8 or 9-year-old mare by Conray out of a Cool Gun mare. We've got Riley's got a nice young mare that's just starting off by Bovey Lance out of a Cool Gun mare, out of a mare called Ramona that we used to draft. And then we've got a mare we bred by Bond Lake Gigolo out of one of our good Romeo mares, Rowena. And I've just got a couple of young mares that are sort of real close to a start. One's by Lance and one by Conray. So, yeah, they're it's a bit of a mixed bag, but yeah, mostly Conrays. And I guess the hard thing for us as breeders is I put aside and maybe one filly each season, if that, and to keep from some of our best mares, and they get put aside and don't get a lot of time. But there's you come around to those sale preps and you get them ready, and then you get busy doing other things and running the farm and living life, and then you realise they've sort of age catches up with them a bit. So these couple of young mares, I'm pretty excited about them. But yeah, they're both out of really good open mares that we drafted, and but they're 5 and 6 year old, but they'll be ready to rock and roll once they have a start, because they're old enough,
And mate, with our concept, like Nutrien Tamworth, it's got a limit on the number of horses you can put in the sale, I suppose, depending on how long you've been supporting them. And I know you take horses to Dalby and you've sold horses in a number of sales. You'd think that you'd have Conray horses that might set aside, say, for the Swan Cup sale or something like that you can't sell them all at Tamworth. So do you think our avenue is just somewhere else for you to go?
Yeah, definitely, mate. We've got an older gelding here that's done just a fair bit of station work, and probably sort of missed that cut, when they're the prime age. I guess really at Landmark is those sort of 3 and 4 year old horses, and we usually try to take fillies there. So we'll focus him towards this first sale, I reckon. And we'll start and sort of put a couple aside each year, I think. They'll be out of our own mares. We're just starting to cross Conray back with some Lance mares now too, some Bovey Lance mares. It was an Acrobat horse of ours, so I think that's going to be a really good cross. We've already had a couple now and under saddle, and they felt really good, and they're built right to play the game. So we'll see where that takes us.
Well, I've seen Conrad probably draft all his life, and I've never seen one get away from him. And same on a few of the other horses that you ride by him. You'd have to think that Conray's breeding and attributes would suit the game of polocrosse, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so, mate. He's a deceptive sort of a bugger. He's pretty casual. Everything sort of comes pretty easy and in a very relaxed manner. But yeah, you're right. I've never gone back to the truck thinking, shit, I wish he was a bit faster. He just seemed to always be able to catch cattle and sort of do it easy. So you weren't fighting, you weren't punching him up there and then having issues with him in the bridle, and the ones by him the same. They just seem to be able to do it smooth, and change of pace seems to be easy, and they always seem to have their feet underneath them. So yeah, we like them, mate, and they suit us, and they seem to have really nicked really well with the Cool Gun sort of mares that we've had too. So it's worked out pretty well, I think.
Well, some of the best things that I've seen you do is, it hasn't actually been you riding him. It's you've gone out and really stuck it to him in an open for an open or a final, and then Nat goes and gets on him and rides him in the ladies, and comes back for her. Like, that's a big thing for any horse, let alone a stallion.
Yeah. She didn't ride him much. She's sort of been mostly on Guns and Roses, but yeah, same point, mate. Exactly the same. He's a horse with a hell of a lot of speed, speed to burn, and yeah, same deal. I mean, Riley started drafting him too, and he just came right back as well, and so yeah, that's the way it should be, I guess. They know their job, and that should be an easy thing to do.
And the mare that Conray's out of, Serenade, she won a Gold Cup or placed second. I'm not sure.
No, she didn't win a Gold Cup, mate, but she only went, as far as I'm aware, she only went 2 or 3 times. Stephen Knipe that owned her sort of had to retire from drafting when the mare was sort of in a prime with some sort of pretty serious back injury. But I just know that she must have been pretty special. I mean, I know what my dad thought of her, but a lot of good judges said to me, we're talking probably 25 years after she was about, said, I saw that mare once. By gee, she was a good mare. Like they only saw her once, but they never forgot her. Fellas like Mike Addo and Bill Sparks, and she was a beautiful looking mare. Terry Hall said to me early on at the Classic there, I ran second in that stallion shootout to Terry on Conman in the overall thing, and we were lined up there, and he said, "Oh, you got him going good, boy." And I said, "Oh, thanks." I was a bit, didn't know what to say really. I said, "Oh, well, could have been better today, I guess." And he said on it, he said if I seen a better, if there's a better mare about, I haven't seen one than his mother. And I thought, well, that's a pretty fair assessment. Conray was bred in his first season. So I'd like to think that strength will, carry through. Strong mares produce strong, mare lines, and they breed on for a fair while. And obviously Conman was out of an outstanding mare. So, hopefully it'll work for us.
You'd have to think with your sponsorship donation to us can help you nearly as much as what it is to the player that wins it. You might get 7 of the best men in the country, bring you back one of their better mares, and all of a sudden you've got 7 horses going around somewhere in Victoria or South Australia playing at a higher level, and with some good jockeys riding them. So, it can help. It can help promote Conray in a place that he might normally go.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's I guess, let's be realistic. That's what sponsorship's meant to be. It's meant to be beneficial to both parties. And I don't give a service fee. We've been, I guess, reasonably generous over the years for camp draft winners, and things locally. And generally speaking, most people have taken them, which is always a fair assessment of what people think about your horse. But you want people to take them, and you want people to take it seriously and breed a decent mare. So, because obviously that that helps your chances of producing a good foal, and the likelihood of those people either keeping the horse and riding it, or at least presenting it somewhere properly and putting it into some good hands. And so that's definitely part of my aim with this project. And I'd love nothing more than in a few years' time, maybe a couple of those horses could end up back through your sale, or at least playing in. It's a long-term game, this horse breeding, but it won't be too long, and they'll be about.
Yeah, definitely,
mate. I've seen you down at Nutrien, and you sell horses there every year, but you've also bought a bid card and got one to go back. So you're going back to the sale, and you may as well ride in the classic competition. Do you like the idea of us offering that incentive as well? And someone like yourself hasn't played since the uni days, just might be enticed back into the sport.
Yeah, well, I suppose if a few blokes get me in the sponsors tent and give me enough beers, I'll probably buy a horse. That's usually it. Or either that or Natalie will tell me not to get a bit hard, and then she'll end up with one herself and be beating along up the row a bit.
Yeah.
But
Probably
yeah,
don't
look,
bid
I
against
think
one
that'd
another.
be yeah. Well, it's nearly happened once, but yeah. Look, I think that's probably half the fun of it. We may as well be, if we're going to be involved the way we are, we may as well get properly into it. And I mean, over the years, I've been able to buy a few out of the classic sale, even by Conrad too. So, which is a nice way to be able to self-promote, put a bit of effort into your own horses. Michael Wilson's done a really good job of that with buying Soda Justice horses back and putting them back through and doing a good job through the challenge and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, who knows? I'll have to find a few blokes that are game to play with me. It's been a fair while. I don't know how good my eye is these days. I don't see as well as I did.
I don't think too many will get around you.
Yeah. It's not always the ball that matters. It's sometimes the work off the ball that matters.
That's it.
Not a lot of fun back there, Alex.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
Like Cam, I want all the glory.
I'm not used to it.
Yeah. You've obviously been a long-term supporter of the Stock Horse Society, breeding stock horses for, like you said, your dad's been doing before you. Your dad had been doing it for a long period of time. What would you say as far as our sale being an approved sale? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, mate. Well, obviously they've, I don't think there's anyone that would disagree that the stock horses dominated the Polocrosse field for, since it started, and I guess they were heavily infused with thoroughbred lines or were probably with thoroughbred horses that had been selected, for their riding qualities, and then they've been, carefully bred over the years. And nowadays, people pretty much know which breeds of horses are more likely to play and which ones aren't, and which ones will do better. And it just seems to be, like all the rest of the performance horse business, it just seems to be going to a new level all the time, isn't it? People are starting to breed specifically to play Polocrosse or selecting certain types of horses that are going to suit. And I think, to be honest, I think camp drafters have probably been a little ignorant over the years of what it takes to make a good Polocrosse horse. And people that breed a nice horse and a good quality horse, now, they realise what, that the top end of Polocrosse, that horse would play or do anything. We win a camp draft, they win a lead class. And, and he'd be a horse you'd like to ride and take home, I reckon. So, the Stock Horse Society's been a big supporter of Polocrosse for a long time, and they've certainly dominated on the field, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, for sure. And having the Stock Horse Society as, backing it and an approved sale, it gives everyone confidence. It gives the vendor his confidence, he's going in a professional show. It gives the buyer a bit of confidence that he's buying what he sees, and that is the horse. And, hopefully it means that if there is a Conrad gelding in the sale, doesn't mean he has to come back and play Polocrosse. They might take him to work, or, they might go and take him in a draft, and, any options. You don't have to come back and play Polocrosse.
No, well, that's a fair point. That's really become evident at the Classic now. There's a pretty wide section of horses being sold there, and we sold a mare, this young filly this year that is going to do some station work for a couple of years, and then their plan, they've got young kids, and their plan is to put their kids on her in a couple of years after she's done a few miles and matured a little bit, and go into pony club and showing. So, that's a far cry from trying to buy a horse to win the Classic. So, the same principle applies to your sale or any other, I guess. You can go there and select a horse to suit what suits you.
That's it. And the benefit is, that the person who buys it doesn't necessarily have to, Nan or Pop could turn up and buy a horse and put their grandchild on it to play in the polocrosse, or, that someone like yourself could take the horse away and draft it and say, hey, Cameron, you want to jump on this horse and play in the Swan Cup? I'm not quite up to it, but you've been playing all year, and throw it that way so that, you still got to run at those incentives, but it doesn't necessarily have to be yourself that does it.
I really hope that's what
fair.
happens. I hope some of the, the parents and the fathers, grandfathers, they want to see their grandchildren or children succeed and ride good ones. And I hope we just provide them with that avenue. Here's the horses here in front of you. If you want to go and play a good one, well, you got to buy it.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Make sure you get a bid card.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be out to organise a fair few of those. And like you said, we might have to get a few of them into that sponsors tent and really stir them up and get the hand waving in the air a bit looser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on board. We're really happy as a club that you've come on board, been a sponsor for us, given us 7 service fees to your Stallion Canipes Conray, throwing your hand in the air to get behind not only a big event, but to get behind a local event for you, local event for us, and showing your support so that every one of those 7 men in the winning side go home with a service fee. And our fingers are crossed that they can turn back up to you in the, at the end of the year for the breeding season with some of their best mares that they're going. Fingers crossed they even turn up with 2 and they buy one off you as well, and look after you in that way. And we just hope that our biggest hope is that you can benefit from it just as much as we can. So thanks again, Codie. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Appreciate all your help, mate.
As I say, thanks, Cameron. We're proud to be involved, and appreciate that people go to some effort to put events on like this to support the industry. And so no good sitting back hoping, waiting to see what's going to happen. We need, I've always tried to support everything that's new and looks like a good idea, and I think this one is. And let's hope it works, eh?
Yeah, excellent.
Let's hope.
And just before we go, our event will run from the 8th to the 11th of July 2021. Our open men's polocrosse and sale nominations open on the 19th of April and close on the 10th of May 2021. Codie Law, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you around the traps.
Thanks, man.
So get your team together, get fired up. So I can have a chop at you at the Inverell Swan Cup.